In this question, we are going to do some more modeling with linear equations and three variables. They are different than the last questions that we did, and so I wanted to separate them. So here we're dealing with a parabola, which of course is a quadratic equation. And a quadratic equation already has three values, the a value, the b value, and the c value, and those are going to be what we're solving for in this case. Now, what we know about ordered pairs is that each ordered pair is in the form x comma y. And so in order to turn each of these points into an equation, I'm going to replace y with the y value, and I'm going to replace x with the x value, and then I'm going to simplify. Whoops. B times 1 and c. So simplifying this, I get a plus b plus c equals 9. Doing the same thing for the second one, y is negative 24, x is negative 2. And that gives me 4a minus 2b plus c equals negative 24. And same process for the last one. Y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. And that gives me 9a plus 3b plus c equals negative 19. Now from here, it should be pretty straightforward. It's just a system of three equations, each with three variables. You choose how you want to proceed, if you're going to combine them with substitution or elimination, etc. I think I am going to take this middle equation and I'm going to change all of the signs because that's going to help me when I combine them. So now I'm going to combine a and b, now that b is all different signs. And if I add a and negative 4a, I get negative 3a. If I add b and 2b, I get 3b. If I add c and negative c, those go away, which is why I did it. And 9 and positive 24 equals 33. Now I'm going to do the same thing, adding b and c together. So negative 4a plus 9a is 5a. 2b plus 3b is 5b. Negative c and positive c cancel out. Positive 24, negative 19 gives me positive 5. And it looks like in each of these that I actually could, say, divide all of these by 3, which is going to give me negative a plus b equals 11. And if I divide each of these by 5, I get a plus b equals 1. I'm going to add those together. My a's cancel. I get 2b equals 12. I get b equals 6. Now I'm going to take that 6, I'm going to plug it back in, probably to a plus b equals 1. So a plus 6 equals 1. By subtracting 6, I get a is negative 5. And then I'm going to take the negative 5 and the 6 and plug it back in probably to this equation and say negative 5 plus 6 plus c equals 9. These two together make 1. So by subtracting 1, I get c is 8. So what is the equation? The equation is in this form using the a, b, and c values. So my equation is going to be y equals negative 5 x squared, and then plus bx, so plus 6x, and then plus c, which is plus 8. So this is the equation of the parabola that goes through the three given points. Follow the same process for this question and then press play to check your work. Again, I'm going to use this quadratic model here. I'm replacing y with my y value and x with my x values. So I'll do that off camera to save time. Now that I've written my three equations, now I can use substitution or elimination to make this just two equations, each with two variables. So I will do that next. I'm going to choose to take, again, my middle equation multiplied by negative 1. So I'm going to change all of the signs in just the middle equation, and that will help me to eliminate that c value. So I'm going to add together my first and second equation. So 9 and negative 16 would be negative 7a squared. Negative 3 plus 4 would be plus b. And c and negative c would cancel. 2 and negative 1 would give me 1. I'm going to do the same thing for b and c. So negative 16 plus 36 actually gives me 20a squared, positive. 4 and negative 6 gives me negative 2b, not a squared. What am I doing? Sorry, I got all confused with my x squareds and whatnot. There should not be squareds on any of those. My bad. Let's see, where was I? So I'm adding these together, I get 20a. Adding these together, I get negative 2b. Adding these together, they cancel, and negative 1 and negative 7 gives me negative 8. From here, I have two equations. I'm going to choose to take that first equation times 2. So that's going to turn it into negative 14a plus 2b equals 2. So I've taken everything there times 2, so that now when I add these together, those b's will cancel. 20a and negative 14a gives me positive 6a. Negative 8 plus 2 gives me negative 6. Dividing, I get a is negative 1. So I'm a little bit of the way there. Now I'm going to take that a value and I'm going to plug it into any of these equations. So I'm going to take that original negative 7a plus b equals 1, and I'm replacing a with negative 1. Negative 7 times negative 1 is 7. Subtracting 7 from each side, I get negative 6. And then, of course, to find my last one, I take negative 1 and negative 6 and plug it back in to any of the original equations. So I'm going to take 9 times a minus 3 times b plus c equals 2. That gives me negative 9. Negative 3 times negative 6 is positive 18. Combining those together, I get 9 plus c equals 2. Subtracting 9, I get c equals negative 7. So my new equation now is y equals negative x squared, or negative 1x squared. So plus bx would be minus 6x, and then plus c would be minus 7. So negative x squared minus 6x minus 7 would be my final equation.